That was something I was going to ask, actually, for our young citizens who look to the EU and also the executive. Where can they find this practical advice?
Well, they can find the advice through a number of sites. For example, the environmental organisations, Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace, World Wildlife Fund. Online, they will all have advice of this kind. They can get it from their local councils. Okay. In fact, I think they should actively go to their local council and say, what are you doing to tackle climate change, and what advice can you give me? They can also get it from the executive, although I think at the moment, in the absence of a really strong push from the Environment Minister, that part of it might be a little difficult. But I'm hoping that there will be an executive strategy in the future for that. Their best bet at the moment is to go to one of those sources and to get very practical advice. Consumer Council is another good place they could go to, that says, because the Consumer Council isn't so much looking at it from the point of view of tackling climate change, but on the fact that a lot of people are finding it very hard this winter to pay their fuel bills. Yeah. A lot of people will be in poverty and hardship because the fuel prices are so high. So the Consumer Council has also done a list of things that you can do
to help
to reduce the amount of energy that you use, from the point of view of saving people money. Even the media, the BBC website is a great site. They have a lot of good information on climate change. If you go onto their website and put in the and they do it in a way that isn't too complicated. I'm afraid I'd point you towards the European Parliament website as well, but sometimes its language is a little difficult for the younger, certainly for the top end of schools. Yes, it's www.europarl.europa.eu. They could try that too.
You've given us a great list of practical advice there, and the reason I asked was because I guess we kind of feel that the science behind all this climate change seems to be speeding up, yet the politics may be slowing down. And activists may be getting kind of annoyed at going to politics or going to politicians and writing to politicians, and they might go to actual to activism, and like what we've seen in Stansted there recently. So what we'd like to see is, I guess, a response from politics.
Yes, I mean, what I've talked about today are individual actions that people take, but I think politics is very, very important. I would contrast, for example, the Scottish Parliament that has just brought through a climate bill that's viewed as one of the better, with strong targets, going to put it into legislation, giving a clear signal to people in Scotland, these are the things that are going to have to happen. And our assembly at home that hasn't done that. We haven't yet brought forward such a bill. I think we have to do so. The environmental groups are calling for it. I'm calling for it. And I think young people could do the same. They could write to all of the political parties at Stormont, without exception, saying, we want you to call for and to put into law specific actions to help tackle climate change. Scotland are doing it with the Scotland climate bill that has just been published. Can we do the same here?
Definitely something for our WIMPS website. Using the campaign tool there, they could actually find their MLAs and write to them on that issue, and perhaps we'll start a campaign to do that.
Yes, I think that would be very good. The other thing they could do is to talk, as I said, to their local councils, both on advice they could get for individuals, but also Dublin City Council adopted a specific Dublin City Council plan to reduce their carbon emissions. Yes. They did a study of what were the areas in Dublin that the Dublin City Council organises that add to climate change. They measured the impact and they set specific actions that council will take to reduce them. It's recognised as another model of good practice. So they could also look at that on the Dublin City Council website and write to other councils saying, are you planning anything similar here?
Thank you very much. I've been Martina Caterina.
And I've been Ben Preston. Thanks for watching wimps.org.uk.